Ladies and gentlemen, Six Fig Stock Trader here from YouTube. In today's video, folks, we're talking Voyager token and Bitcoin. You don't want to miss out on this. So welcome back to the channel, everyone. We are going to be talking Voyager in just a second, but hit me up on Twitter at Real6Fig if you haven't already. This is where I'm dropping crypto interesting news, links to live streams and videos, charts when I cannot make it to YouTube to create you guys a video. Now, I just want to touch on this Twitter post that I made yesterday. Last Friday, I joined Crypto Airborne and a whole other crew of VGX heroes for their live stream. I just initially went on to do a little bit of TA, but what I went on to find was that there might possibly be some sort of momentum change or reversal around January 27th. So let's look at Voyager token on this chart. And I think that I have a few different theories that I'm going to lay down on you guys, and they are all pretty bullish theories pending the movement of Bitcoin. So if we see Bitcoin really skyrocket, man, I think we might be in store for at least a $5.50 Voyager token within the next month or two. So let's get into this here. On this, well, I was looking at a 22-hour chart just because I really had a good glance at this 200 moving average. But now we can finally see the 200 moving average on the daily chart, so we won't look at that. But when I look at this price action, folks, we can see that it's just simply too far away from the Ichimoku cloud. When we see price action really start to get out of control like this, this is a good indication that we need to come back in closer to the cloud to check reality before we can move up again. That's why this price action here failed and we ended up double topping. We're just too far away from the Ichimoku cloud to really bounce hard. So right now, price action is way too far away from the cloud, in my opinion, not financial or trading advice. Baseline is well above the conversion line. Now, the conversion line is the line that really we want to pay attention to at this point in time. Because if we start to see this thing trading sideways and then start arcing up, we will see an explosion of price for VGX to the upside. And in addition to that, I do think that price will come down, or come up, I should say, to maybe retest this 50 moving average somewhere in there. So short-term price, right around $2.70. In addition, in the next couple of weeks, Voyager has a nice shot at really trying to transition through this weak point of the Ichimoku cloud. Very bearish cloud. So when we start to see these weak points develop, this is exactly the moment that we want to seize. Now, I do think that there is a complete chance for this $5.50 VGX. Here's why. And it might take a while. It might not happen until March if it does. Like I said, we need to stick around for when I look at Bitcoin here in just a second, okay? So back, last week when I was talking about, hey, everybody needs to really watch for this. Bear with me 1 second. Everybody needs to really watch. Hold on tight here, folks. Get this all lined up here. Everybody needs to watch out for January 27th. We could see this thing, the bottom completely fall off it and go lower. I'm not feeling that right now, but this 27th could serve as a very nice reversal point for price action. Given the fact that we are so far away from this Ichimoku cloud, kind of makes a little bit of sense to me. But now, where this $5.50 price prediction comes in, well, there is kind of inverse head and shoulders that you could argue could possibly be forming. Maybe early March, mid-March, we might see this right shoulder if price action does well, if the markets kind of pull a reversal, move, right up to this $5.60 level. But we may, in fact, see somewhat of a drop at that point. Now, if we get some sort of inverse head and shoulders like this going into May, My goodness, folks, hang on. Because I do think that Voyager at that point, pending the market is healthy, we might see this thing really start to explode. So don't get your hopes up. This is very speculative. It's not financial or trading advice. Very speculative. A lot of things need to happen. But if we come back up, get rejected somewhere around this $5, 550-ish level, okay, there might be a trade or a play that could be made here, uh, to say the least. So we need to take a quick peek here and just kind of show everybody that, hey, when we measure a retracement off this, we can see that price action has come right down to the 127 retracement. Okay, very common for price action to pull a 180, a 360. It could do a 360 here too. It could keep going lower. So yeah, it's very common for price action to pull a 180 right around this 127. It's very powerful Fibonacci reversal, and extension level. So right now, there is one other thing that I do want to show you guys as well, and that is that we could be seeing a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders or something like that, maybe possibly to get us back up to these $5.50 levels. This would be one hell of a nice correct or impulse wave, excuse me, to the upside. So I do think that there is this chance that we could see this price action really try to blow through this part of the Ichimoku cloud on the daily chart. Now, I'm really not going to pull up like the hourly chart, anything like that. There's just not a whole lot to see here. I mean, we can see that this thing came down into the symmetrical triangle squeeze, and now we are kind of ripping. There might be some Elliott wave theory here to the upside, but there's just nothing too concrete for me to really talk about. So let's talk about Bitcoin. Bear with me one second, folks, while I pull up this Bitcoin chart. And so here's Bitcoin. I'm going to really bring this back to the daily chart as well. So Bitcoin is in a very similar situation to VGX. How do we know this? Well, take one good glance at this price action to the Ichimoku cloud. Very similar to Bitcoin. The only thing is we don't really have that death cross that was on the VGX chart hanging over our heads. So with that said, right now, I do believe that Bitcoin is following this trend line to the downside. And I do think that we might see a little bit of resistance when it comes to Bitcoin right around this $41,000, $42,000 level. I do think that we might have possibly seen a little bit of Elliott wave theory, somewhere in here, but this might just be an ABC or an ABCDE corrective wave, depending on if we get rejected right around this $38,000 to $42,000 level. So right now, I'm looking at Bitcoin. The candle looks very similar to VGX. People are selling. So they're seeing this opportunity. They're not letting price get higher than the $38,500-ish level. But I do think that Bitcoin might be poised to really start ripping to the upside and at least test this 50 moving average or this trend line here. There is a great opportunity like VGX for Bitcoin to really pass through this weak spot in the Ichimoku cloud. So this usually indicates that there was significant previous price movement to the up or downside. When we start seeing these skinny clouds, it usually means that price moved really fast beforehand. So kind of like right here, this cloud here was kind of measuring this price here. You can see it just moved really quickly to the upside. So I'm hoping that we see this reversal here with Bitcoin as well. Now, I am kind of curious on Bitcoin about throwing up a little time sequence just to see if we can get anything to really kind of pop up. Let's check this out here. Maybe we can do this. We go. Okay, nothing. Bear with me one second here, folks. I mean, man, nothing too concrete quite yet. Just bear with me. So, man, I don't know. Nothing really too definitive other than March 10th showing up for Bitcoin as possibly a significant point in time. And we could be seeing some sort of inverse head and shoulders, like I was just talking about with Voyager tokens. So that's really where we're at with the market. When we look at the RSI for Bitcoin, this is a great tool to use to look for patterns. People always nag and whine. I was going to say the B word, but I won't in case there's kids listening. But this is a great place to look for patterns. Like I said, I don't care what you like or what you do. This is what I do. So we can definitely see that there is a very nice falling wedge here, which is very bullish. And we haven't seen Bitcoin at this low of RSI levels since the coronavirus crash. So think about that for a second. There is a lot of steam and momentum to really start moving upwards if we can swing the market. So is what it is, folks. Big shout out to all the Patreons. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. $3 a month will get your name, YouTube channel name, or business name up on this banner. I'll see you guys all on the next video.